our next discussion. Nigeria is not just faced with dearth of infrastructure, but also bedeviled by substandard ones. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has let it be known that under his watch, there will be no award of contract for road construction without concrete layouts. Speaking in Lagos during an inspection tour of the Oshodi-Oworonshoki-Ojota road, Umahi wondered why some contractors are against the use of mobile or more durable and cost-effective concrete technology like cement for road construction. And according to the minister, bitumen is more expensive and less durable.
I completely agree with him. David Umahi knows what he's talking about. And there is no doubt about it. He's a civil engineer, and he governed Ebonyi State for 8 years.
Right.
Where...
Please, before you move on, let's share the story by TVC News. Sarah Yoko with you.
Before the minister concluded his two-day inspection tour in Lagos, he inspected two critical road infrastructure in Ikorodu. One is the Ikorodu-Shagam dual carriage way, a road linking Lagos and Ogun states. He expressed satisfaction with the project, which is about 85% completed, commending Arab contractors for observing construction standards in terms of contractual agreement with the government.
At kilometer 22, and we are just about 8 kilometers to the end. And of course, we are also aware that this is a very strategic road in Southwest because it's also an alternative to Lagos-Ibadan. So once it is completed, anytime there is any problem on Lagos-Ibadan, people can make use of this Ikorodu-Shagam. So we are making very good progress here. Once the money is available, they may even finish before 2024. You know, of course, we have just 8 kilometers to the end. And we are entering, once we enter the dry season in October or maybe late October, we are hoping that the contractors will have some money and maybe within the first quarter or so of 2024 we'll knock it off before the next rainy season.
It has gone very, very well. I have over 88.2% of job done. Very important to know that part of it is dualized and part of it is also on rigid pavement, even though it's coated with 2-inch asphalt and the rest on flexible pavement. If I had come on time, everything would have been on rigid pavement.
However, while inspecting the Ikorodu-Itoikin road, the minister urged the Lagos government to maintain the road in the meantime, while the federal government rehabilitates and makes the 34-kilometer single-lane road a dual carriageway.
I'm going to be looking at the 2022 supplementary to know whether there is any money there and to fight for 2023 supplementary budget to bring money so that we can start. So I can assure that within the next 60 days.
A comprehensive report for all the bridges in Lagos is expected in a month. It will include a proposal for security infrastructure and surveillance to prevent vandalism around road infrastructure. Sarah Ayeko, TVC News, Lagos.
All right, that's all.
Yes, so I completely agree with him. If this technology is going to serve us, why not? Because, like I said earlier, he has done it in Ebonyi State, and we can see it. The portion that was cement paved in Lagos, that is if you go from Ojota towards Yanwura, and then you turn off going towards Oshodi, you'll see that that portion, even on the surface, looking at it with your...
can testify to that.
Yeah, it's smoother, much better than... And I've not seen anything peeling off in the last almost 1 year. It's been there. So I think if we're actually going to do roads, we should make them durable. Instead of having a road that within 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you have to keep going back there. And I completely agree with him. It's just waste of money we've been doing in the past. And if we have the basic things for producing cement in Nigeria, then we should invest more in that. Yes, we also have bitumen, but we are unable to fully process it ourselves. So sometimes we wait for bitumen to come from outside the country. But here we are with cement, and we have a lot of cement factories around, which can easily produce for us to meet the requirements of Nigeria. So if it's better in the long run, then why not? We should be looking at that option.
All right. Sorry, Umahi says no concrete layout for roads, no jobs. And he also talked about the poor works done on Abuja-Lokoja Road, Lokoja-Benin Road, and he practically blamed the contractors. Do they take all the blames here?
Well, if the minister is the one talking now, and he's the man who is going to be in charge, I want to agree that if he shows to blame the contractors, he's prepared for it. We will then have to forget whatever it is that has happened in the past and see what he's going to put on the table. If after this beautiful observation by Minister Umahi, we see things continue as business as usual, I'll be disappointed. Dr. said he's done it in Boeing. Well, I've not seen it, but if people are bearing testimony, then I am eager to see him repeat it. He already showed me that he appears to know what he's doing, but the things he said, I listened to him complain about the Abuja the road, and he paid glowing tributes to the work done on Ikorodu-Shagamu Road. I have applied that road very well. I can tell you it is a concrete technology. You need to see the portions that have been almost 2 years more now. Those portions from Odogunyo in Ikorodu down to well after Ogijo, almost getting to Lukosi, that had been completed in the past and we've been using, the roads appear as if they are meant to be forever. No faults yet, no potholes yet, 2 years. And then you leave Lafarge in Shagamu into Shagamu town, going towards Ikperu. That road has also been in use for more than 3 years. And you can't still find, except for the overhead bridge, which was done by the state. And I have noticed when I take the bridge once or twice, I've seen some very terrible damages done. That was done by the state government in the former administration. If you climb that bridge today, you will see cracks. These are the things we are saying. If we have a technology that has been tested and is proving to be a better option to bitumen, we must learn to change our ways. We can't continue to do things the same way. Now we have a minister who is saying, look, you know, that's why I agree with your question, and should they take all the blame? Why you have a minister or ministry officials who are ready to agree to cutting corners? Okay, is it bitumen you want to use? The contractor say, yes, that's what is readily available for me. Okay, and when they agree to certain things, so they go and use it. Contrary to what is in the Times, the papers. That's what the man is saying, that if you know you cannot give us concrete technology, forget about it. He's not saying we will not do roads, though. He's saying that particular contractor will not get the job. It's making it clear. If you don't have the technology, the wherewithal, the manpower to give us this new technology that is proving to be better, then leave the job. Go and upgrade yourself. Come back. Maybe you will do other things. Right. So you will understand that it is what it is. It is what we should do. Move away from what we are used to. Look at all the bitumen roads all over the country. After a year, they will tell you, oh, because there was no drainage, because the rain was heavy that year. Must we always fix roads? So I agree with Umahi. If he's coming with something new, let's encourage him.
All right, so BKO, while you react to that report, what other areas would you advise Dave Umahi to focus on in the discharge of his duties?
I think that if he can find the funding that is needed to rehabilitate roads and construct new ones, he would go down as one of the best works ministers of his generation. The problem really is funding. And funding is the reason a lot of these contracts don't get executed in quality time. Look at the major road projects that we have today. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the second Niger Bridge, the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway. We have had to look for funds through the Sovereign Wealth Fund, through Abacha loot, in order to carry out those highly capital-intensive projects. And as we speak, contractors are being owed a lot of money. This is the reason a project that's supposed to be delivered in 2 years does not get delivered in 5 years. And during that period, the contract gets reviewed and reviewed and reviewed, and it then means that it costs more money to complete those roads. And there are also all kinds of encumbrances. The BPP, for example. Why do we need the BPP? Because it's just, in my view, extremely unnecessary. Extremely unnecessary and unnecessary bureaucracy. And you hear many contractors complain about corruption as a result of having an agency of government that is not really necessary in the final analysis. So we need to remove the bureaucracies that ensure that projects get delayed. The minister talked about that. And you must have heard what he said in respect of approval for federal projects. He said, come on, if you send me an application to fix a federal road in your state, I am prepared to respond to you within 30 minutes via WhatsApp. Because federal roads are in deplorable states in many states. But some governors are reluctant to move in and fix those federal roads because of what the former president said some time ago, that don't touch my roads. Don't, he actually called the federal roads his own roads. Don't touch my roads, because he felt that the bills will become too high for the federal government to handle. Well, of course, the federal government has too many roads to handle. So states can come in and help you fix those roads, and state governments are doing that because it is their people who use those roads. They can't watch those roads continue to deteriorate. There was a time when Fayose will put a small billboard somewhere, a small signage indicating that this road belongs to federal government, to don't blame me for its present terrible state. We need to solve that problem. And we need to ensure that we build roads that last so many years. Look at Abuja Road, for example, built by former military president Ibrahim Babangida. There are many of them that have not seen a single pothole on them, despite being constructed so many years ago. You can imagine constructing roads more than 30 years ago and there's not a single pothole on one of them. Look at Kudirat Abiola Way. It wasn't constructed with, it wasn't concrete based. But you drive through, since it was constructed around the year 2000, not one pothole on the Kudirat Abiola Way. That was the promise that Julius Baja made to government at that time, that you will not see any pothole on this road in 30 years. So it's possible to even deliver roads with bitumen, with asphalt overlay, and still last for so many years. That one is possible. But in the opinion of the minister, those roads made with concrete reinforcement and all that are cheaper to deliver and they last much longer. I agree with him that since that is established, let's have more of those roads made of concrete, cement-based roads. He has constructed 3,500 of such roads in Ebonyi. I was in Ebonyi State for almost a week. I saw his roads. Even in rural areas, those roads were solid concrete and people are driving freely on them. It's going to take a while. They are going to last so long. Those are the kind of roads that we need. It will save us money. It will save us so much energy. Refurbishing them if we just do the right thing.
All right, moving on. Nigeria is at that point where imminent flooding instills national fear in us. The National Emergency